have been doing a lot recently, and because I've been doing so much recently, I haven't had time to, one, read as much or to vlog as much, and I have to say, I miss vlogging. So this week, even though it's not really in my filming plans because I have plans for so many videos, I really feel like doing a weekly reading vlog and just kind of seeing what I get up to reading and sharing my thoughts on it because I miss doing that with you guys. I have been in a bit of a reading slump lately, but I feel the tables turning. I want to get through these books so that I can do a few more challenges and things that I'm filming in the future. Also, do you like the sheets that I put back there? The boys that I watch are allowed to eat snacks in my car. It's a car, it's meant to be used. It's meant to get dirty, even though I don't love it, but I decided to finally put some protection back there. And so these are some old sheets that I tie-dyed when I was like in middle school or high school and in my tie-dye craze. I mean, I'm still in tie-dye craze because it's just so fun and satisfying, but it's a look. The first book that I really want to finish is The Secret Garden. I am slowly trying to read more classics because I really haven't read that many classics, if I'm being quite honest. A lot of them are on the Audible library, so I picked The Secret Garden up. I have seen the movie, so I do kind of know the plot line, so it's not really a surprise to me. That's okay, I'm still really enjoying it. It's so simple and pure. The imagery is so vivid, and I feel like it's the perfect time to be reading it right now because in the book, it's like the cusp of spring and everything is starting to shoot up and bloom, and that's exactly what's happening in my life right now. Things are starting to bud, some of the flowers are starting to blossom and bloom, and just like the fresh scent of spring, and it's just like perfect time to be reading it. It's making me smile, and I only have an hour and 20 minutes left to listen to that book, so I'm sure I'll get through that soon. I want to get to some pretty springy books right now because I'm in the mood, you know? I'm such a mood reader. Let me know down below in the comments if you're a mood reader too. Oh my gosh, also, I totally forgot about this, but you guys are amazing. Thank you for so much love on the book haul video. There are so many new subscribers, so hey you guys, if you're new here, what's up? My name's Elise. Welcome to my channel. We just like have good time. We just have good time. Proper English. Yeah, good job, Elise. Anyway, we just have a good time. We chat books. I'm sure that convinced you. I need a nap. I just got back from a long weekend in Nashville with my best friend. We haven't seen each other in a little over a year, so it was really nice, but I'm also high-key exhausted and just like barely keeping myself together. I have a big old vat of coffee even though it's 4 p.m. so wish me luck tonight. It's the only way I'm gonna get through an afternoon with an 8 and a 10-year-old. Wow, she's chatty today. I'm gonna go now before I talk for another 10 minutes about nothing. Anyway, bye, see you soon. Hey y'all, that sounded so southern. Hey everyone, I just dropped the boys off. I look crazy. The boys like crashed out on the way home from school. It is the first day back from spring break, so I figured that maybe they're just worn out from spring break and from the first day back to school, getting on a schedule again. So I just kind of let them sleep in the back for a while I read. So I got about 30 pages through Under the Whispering Door, which I totally forgot to tell you guys that I'm reading it. I'm trying to read through it really quickly because my Libby hold ends in like 3 days, maybe 4. My library is very small, especially for the popular books. It takes like 3 to 6 months for your hold to come in. I think I waited maybe 4 months for it. So I really want to finish it and get through it this time. I love how quirky the characters are. Like the personality of the characters is really thorough and strong even this early on in the book. I'm only like 27% into the book so far. So I'm really loving how strong each character is and how unique each character is. Their voice is really coming through the page and you can really imagine them and the setting and the scene. It's almost like it's written as a movie script. Right now we're following Wallace, who I believe is maybe in his like 40s, mid 40s, late 40s. He is he's like an attorney or some powerhouse man at this company that he helped create. We see very right off the bat that he's one of those mean guys who just does what he needs to get done to be a successful businessman. And then next thing we know, he's dead and he's staring at himself at his funeral, and this random chick May is there, and May kind of takes him to this house called like Caron Tea House or Tea Shop or whatever. This all happens within like the first 2 chapters, and he's dead, but he's still there. And he's like, what am I doing here? Who are you guys? Why am I here? What's going on? None of them are answering any of his questions. They're all very like answering questions with questions or dodging or like trying to have him answer his own questions. I'm interested to see what's gonna happen when more information drops, but I'm just enjoying the vibes so far. It's been a good time. You guys will definitely get an update by the end of this vlog about that book, so keep watching if you're interested. Wow, chaotic vibes. Okay, gonna drive home and finish listening to The Secret Garden. I should be able to finish that on my drive home. Good morning, everyone. Oof, I am on the Hot Mess Express. I like literally jumped out of bed and went straight to yoga. I haven't even brushed my hair and it's like drizzling and raining outside. It's so nasty. I'm like struggling so hard today because yesterday I finally got home from my trip, and you know, whenever you take like quite a busy trip, I don't want to say not relaxing because there were some relaxing moments, but it was quite busy and full, and you don't have enough buffer between your trip and like going back to work, and that's me today. That's a very silly thing to be complaining about, but I'm just letting you guys know I'm on the struggle bus and I have so much to film today. I have so many fun things to film that you may or may not have seen already. The order is iffy. I wanted to show you guys some books that I checked out at the library where yoga is. So first I checked out Artemis. I have read Project Hail Mary and The Martian by Andy Weir. I absolutely loved Project Hail Mary. It's in the top of the top of the top of my favorite books of all time. The Martian was also really fun, really humorous. I have this on audiobook and I'm just not getting into it, so I thought maybe if I did like a tandem listen and read. I don't know if it's the narrator or if it's the story itself, but I would really like to finally get through this book. So now I'm going to get some caffeine and some breakfast and look presentable because I'm a mess. Let's do that. Hey friends, it's quite a bit later. We got ourselves together and filmed a few videos. I filmed Steph Bower's book recommendation tag, and then I'm in the middle of doing a tour of my physical TBR, and that one is a doozy. I finished The Secret Garden yesterday evening and I really enjoyed that book. The overarching story of like hope and perspective and the way that you view the world and how that really affects the way that we live our life and step through our lives. So I really liked the overarching story that it had. I actually had forgotten the ending of the movie because I remember I used to love that movie as a kid. The ending was kind of a nice surprise, and now is like the best time to be reading that book because it does coincide with spring. It happens over a greater period of spring, so I really enjoyed that. And my camera battery died. Now I'm listening to Andy Weir's Artemis. There are settlements on the moon, and the politics and the rules and everything are very strict, but somehow she kind of works on the black market, kind of doing some shady things for money. And then she was just offered this kind of very shady deal that has to do with the oxygen supply and supplier of the moon. Things are going a little crazy. We're gonna see how it goes. I have a feeling things are gonna get very dramatic and very adventurous at some point, so I'm excited to see how that goes. I think it'll be nice to be able to flip back and forth between the book and the audio, just to kind of like speed through it. You guys, that sunset is stunning. Look at that. Gorgeous. friends. Oof. I'm looking some type of way. Have all the skincare going on. It's much later. It's 11:30. I have listened to a little bit more of Artemis. Artemis is about this colony of people who live on the moon. Our main character is a porter on Artemis, which is like the settlement on the moon. So a porter is a person who like makes deliveries, gets packages, delivers them to people. So she does some little like behind the scenes, black market, shady shit going on. She gets contracted to do a special job to help a businessman in this community. And that's all I'm gonna say. I have listened to 2 hours and 6 minutes so far. I'm a little disappointed. It's very dry writing, very much like telling you what things are and how they look. We'll see how it goes. I'm gonna do a little bit of reading. The goal is to get to 50%, but that's where I wanna get before I go to sleep tonight. Anyway, I'm currently on page 111. So let's see if I can get to page 195, maybe. Hey friends, what's up? It's a few days later. I honestly don't remember when I last checked in with you guys. Maybe Tuesday? Also, do you hear that? You guys, I literally picked the worst week to do a reading vlog. Number one, I'm applying for grad school this week, so I'm trying to get everything together. References, resumes, letter of intent, applications, FAFSA. So it's been a week. And then also in my community, we have something called Thunder in the Hills or something like that. So it's a motorcyclist festival situation where a bunch of motorcyclists gather around and they go ride in the hills, and it is loud, loud, loud. I had all these plans to film these this week and all of them are squashed. So please enjoy the sound of nature and motorcycles in the background. But I wanted to give you guys an update. They said no filming for you. I wanted to give you guys an update. First, I did finish Artemis. I ended up listening to part of it and reading part of it. It took me a while to get into. About halfway is when I really started enjoying it, and I think that's because the main character finally had a little more that you could relate to, because at the beginning of the book she's all about money. Money, 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 money. It's kind of hard to like Jazz at the beginning because she's so snarky and only money centered, but later in the book you learn why she's money centered and it ends up being kind of sweet. I don't want to spoil it for you because I really enjoyed that kind of reveal. Other characters in the story also start being a little more quirky and you get to know them, and a little more of their features start to show, and so it's easier for you to get to know them and relate to them. A murder does happen about halfway through the book, and then it sets off this whole other series of events, and it gets like really fast paced, really fun. I love Svoboda. He ended up being my favorite character and I loved him so much. It kind of has a found family aspect. Romance is not a big thing. There's some humor. Our main character is pretty quirky. She's really smart, but she wants to do what she wants to do with her smarts, and she doesn't want to do what other people think she should do. And I really like that about Jazz. The character arc was really good, so I ended up really enjoying it. It does kind of get less stars for me because it took so long for me to enjoy it. I like a story that's going to be engaging from the beginning, and I don't mind having information sprinkled in slowly, but I also want it to be engaging at the same time, if that makes sense. And I know that's a high standard, but it is what it is. Next is actually a book that I haven't even talked about. I had been kind of slowly reading it over time. I was about halfway through, and that is Sweet Berries, and I did finish this yesterday. So this is about Grace, who works at a farm, and she lives in this interracial, very welcoming city. And then there's Merrick, who is a Mothman who just moved to the city. His job is research. He is very nerdy and socially anxious and very adorable, and so they kind of meet. Grace has her reservations because she got out of a bad divorce where he was a gaslighter. She thinks he's only going to be in town for his research research time period. So she's like, like a short time, but a good time. It's kind of the opposite of Artemis, actually, where the beginning was so fun. The world that Siemna Costa is building is so fun. It's this little town, or maybe it's a city, where humans and creatures live, and it's supposedly one of the most interspersed, interracial cities that are welcoming to different creatures and not just humans. And so I love the setup of this city. It's so cool, and I can tell she was planting seeds for other books in this series, but towards the middle it really dropped in interest from me. There were some conversations and characters that were mentioned and interacted with, but there wasn't closure when it came to them. And again, maybe it's because she's weaving it into these other series. She wants you to read the rest of the books, but I like for the book itself to have closure, or for those things to kind of be wrapped up. It is very steamy to have monster romance, so if you're not into that, skip ahead. But yeah, it was cute. I really enjoyed Merrick. He was really shy and adorable, and I talked about his little like antennae. So cute. It was entertaining. It was fun. Let's do an update on Under the Whispering Door. I am currently on page 148, so I am 40% through with the novel. I'm hoping to read some more tonight and to finish it tomorrow, but this weekend I don't have any plans, so I'm like catching up on everything, like applying to grad school. I did my taxes. I made all of these appointments for like my hair and my teeth, and you know, being adult things. It has been so fun to see all of the springy things coming out. The other day there were deer and some babies, and we have this animal called mouflon. They're like a mountain goat variety. We have a lot of like big game ranches, and these animals have just kind of gotten out and are now in the wild. So that's why we have them, but a lot of them had babies and like twins, and they were so cute. And the peach blossoms are blooming, and the river, the trees are coming to life, and it's been so fun just seeing everything come back to life and like getting in the sun. Happy spring, y'all. My mom is designing and creating a baby blanket for my cousin's baby. She has the fabric all cut out and ready to go, so I'm just gonna go to town and I'm going to listen to an audiobook. And right now I'm listening to Light from Uncommon Stars, I hope I pronounced this right, by Rika Aoki. Is about this person who sold their soul to become a great musician, and now in order for them to continue living, instead of for their soul to be like taken from them forever, they have to find 7 more souls to collect. This person, I forget her name, but she is their teacher, and so she looks for brilliant musicians to take under her wing, and then they sell their soul to be brilliant musicians, and the cycle goes on. So we're on the last and final soul for this instructor. This particular student is a violinist. She ran away from her family because they were very unsupportive of her transition. She was bullied and beaten up a lot, and so she runs away. The instructor and this student cross paths. So it's really interesting so far. I'm really enjoying it because I really enjoy music. I was in choir for like 9 or 10 years of my life, competed on a state level, so it's really nice to read a book from someone who obviously knows music and is really passionate about it. I'm gonna listen to that while I sew up a baby blanket. So let's put you on a time lapse.
21. The next morning, Katrina rode with Shizuka to the Santa Anita shopping plaza. Katrina had been in shopping centers before, and in Asian areas before, but nothing had prepared her for this.
Hey again, everyone. One of my part-time jobs is to clean a local library, so I'm here and I'm currently listening to this book. I was starting to get a little tired of it because it just felt like everything was floating around and nothing of substance was actually happening, but I feel like some of the loose ends are starting to kind of weave together and tie it up, so I might be able to finish it today. We'll see. But anyway, I'm at the library. I love cleaning this library because it's so peaceful and like quiet, and I can listen to books while I'm cleaning 4 books. Bless.
33. Lan arrived at Shizuka's house. Shizuka had her coat on and was waiting outside. "I'm sorry to bother you so suddenly," Lan said as they drove down the hill. "It's fine. Katrina is working with Astrid."
Hey friends, it's quite a bit later. I finished cleaning the library. I'm currently 70% through with Light from Uncommon Stars. The narrator is jumping around from character to character a lot more frequently than before, so I feel like things are kind of gonna start wrapping up. I'm not sure. It just feels more sporadic than before and more chaotic. I'm not sure how I feel about it. It's very confusing to me, so I'm not sure how to put it into words. I really wish I had the physical copy or like a digital copy so that I could read it, because I can read and process faster than I can listen and process, which is kind of what I did with Artemis earlier today. Hopping over to Under the Whispering Door, we are also at 70%. I really want to finish this book tonight, so even though I work early tomorrow, we're just gonna get it done. So I have 2 hours left, and it's currently 10 p.m. Oops. I'm ready to finish this book. The vibes are immaculate. The characters are so fun, but I don't really know what's happened really beyond Wallace's death and arriving to the tea house and just kind of like floating about. And like, yes, he's learning things about himself, so I guess this is a very character based story. There's not a ton of plot line. However, a new person did come, a new dead person did come and is kind of causing a ruckus. So we're right in the middle of that. I had to stop for dinner, so that's where I'm picking up amid the chaos. Live from Uncommon Stars is just like chaotic storytelling, and then Under the Whispering Door is like a chaotic moment. Let's see how this goes. I finished it. That last 30% was wild. Now I'm physically exhausted as well as emotionally exhausted. I'm happy with the ending. A lot happened in that last 30%. I think I'm going to talk about it more tomorrow because it's like midnight. My brain needs some rest. Hey y'all, it's the next day. Let's talk about the last few books that I finished reading. First off, we have Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. I needed a moment to just think about this book and sleep on it because that night, it hit me that night. I still believe in what I said about it though, where the first, maybe 15-20% of the book, Wallace dies and then he is taken to this kind of crossing point where he is allowed to stay for a while before crossing on through what they call the Whispering Door. No one knows what's beyond the Whispering Door. All they know is that it's not painful, it won't hurt them, and that everyone crosses on to the beyond. But Wallace is very confused. He likes to know the facts. And Wallace kind of goes through this metamorphosis, this transformation of realizing he wasn't a great person before and kind of fixing that to his best ability as a ghost or as the unalive, the dead. So that kind of like 50% in the middle is very wondering. Not a lot actually happens, but there's a lot of dialogue, a lot of talking, a lot of internal processing, but physically not a lot of things happen. So that part kind of lost me, I'm not gonna lie. But then the last 30% of the book was like, pew, 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 pew. Oh, oof. It was so good, the last 30%. It really hit me. There was a lot of emotion and love and found family in that last 30%. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the ending. I kind of wondered if something or other like that would happen, and I'm glad that it did. I wasn't upset that it wasn't the most surprising ending to me ever. I wasn't upset because I liked that's how it went. Okay, and then like early the next morning, I finished Light from Uncommon Stars. I want to like this book more, if I'm being honest. I loved the concept of it. I loved the women empowerment, the queer empowerment, the focus on the transgender world and the people in it, and how the outside world and what people say and do really affects the transgender community, especially with all that's happening right now. So I wanted to like it more for that, but because of the way that it was written, there were like 4 or 5 different point of views and they jumped around really frequently, and it really threw me out of the loop. If you've watched some of my older videos, you know that floating third person narrative is not my favorite. When it's done well, it's excellent, but when it's not, it really takes me out of the story. And so I wanted to like this book so much more, but the execution and the writing style of it with that floating third person narrative, just like yanking you around from one perspective to another perspective, really threw me off and it took me out of the story. I like the ending of this book as well. I kind of wondered if something along those lines would happen at the ending, and so I'm really glad that it ended the way it did, but the execution of the ending was not how I expected. So there was like this moment where it wasn't going like I thought it was going to go, and I was just like devastated. And then whoop, it flipped around and I was like, okay, good job, that was well done. I really liked the kind of found family aspect in this as well. I love the focus on music and morality and kindness. So there were a lot of things that were well done in this book, but there were some things that weren't. Yeah. That wraps up my week-long reading vlog. This is my first reading vlog that I'm doing that doesn't involve a challenge. It was kind of nice to just read whatever I felt like whenever I felt like it and just chat with you guys about it. I was also unsure of how much daily life to put in there. Let me know in the comments below if you like more daily life stuff or just mostly like book related stuff. Either one is fine. It's your opinion. That's why I'm asking. So you're not gonna hurt my feelings if you only want book related content. I get it. So that's not a problem. Thanks for joining me in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love all of you, but I love those of you who comment and like chat books with me. It's so fun. Love you guys, sending you all the good vibes. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye everyone.